If your dough looks like this and your first instinct is to dump more flour, stop. Adding more flour might actually be the reason your bread turns out dense, dry, or heavy. The truth is, sticky dough is not your enemy. But if you don't know how to work with it, it feels impossible to bake airy artisan bread. I'm Carissa, and here at Humbly Homemade, I share science-backed bread baking tips without overwhelming jargon. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how to handle sticky dough with 5 easy tips without ruining your bread. First, let's clear something up. Sticky dough doesn't necessarily mean you did something wrong. It's just an indication of the level of hydration, which is simply the ratio of flour to water in your dough. So why does bread dough feel sticky? First, here's a quick overview of the science behind the process of mixing dough. First, our flour is primarily made up of 2 parts, starch granules and protein molecules. When we mix water with flour, then those starch granules begin to hydrate. Starch enzymes in flour begin converting starch into sugar. And then that sugar will be absorbed by yeast and bacteria cells and fermented to produce CO2. And the water that we added causes the structure and bonding of flour proteins to change. So in a really simplified manner, water molecules plus protein molecules form gluten. The mechanical process of kneading dough breaks apart gluten bonds so it can reform into a stronger network. Here's how we can visualize kneading. At first, proteins in our dry flour look kind of like this. Once we add water to our flour, then the proteins sort of make this kind of jumbled, networky mess going on. But as we knead the dough, then those gluten strands are stretched and they form a really nice web. And this gluten network, or the shape of the gluten strands and the protein molecules and everything, is really effective at trapping that CO2 to create a nice rise. So now we know why we need to add water to form gluten with the proteins in flour, and why we need to allow gluten to form either by kneading or with a gentler kneading method, which I'll explain in a few minutes. But why do we need to add so much water that our dough becomes sticky? Well, it's important to note that the most critical step for gluten development is flour hydrating, not kneading. And more hydration, meaning more water, allows more of our flour's protein molecules to move around and form strong bonds, resulting in a stronger gluten network, which in turn creates lighter, airy, more open crumb once your dough is baked. I'm not gonna lie though, early on, it can feel like a hot mess. Think of it this way. Sticky dough is often the sign that your bread will bake up soft, airy, and beautiful if you don't panic. You see, when I was first learning how to bake bread, I added anywhere from a 1/4 cup or more of additional flour as I was trying to knead my dough to prevent it from sticking to my counter, my hands, the bowl, everywhere. My arms got sore, my shoulders were killing me, and my bread ended up dense even after all that time and effort. The problem was that I was adding way too much flour early on before the dough had time to absorb water. And depending on the type of flour you use, that absorption time can take longer. For example, bread flour or whole wheat flour take longer to hydrate than all-purpose flour due to their higher protein contents. And every time you add flour to fix stickiness, you're essentially changing the recipe. That's because every time you add more flour, you're reducing the hydration, tightening the crumb structure, and you get dense bread. Now, I want to make a quick, important distinction here between sticky and tacky dough. When the dough is sticky, it clings to your hand or the surface, whereas if it's tacky, it just gently grabs. And in a minute, I'll show you how to tell the difference between properly sticky and actually too wet, because that's where most people get confused. Next, we'll go over my 5 tips of how to handle sticky dough. First, the next time you find yourself with sticky dough on your hands, before you touch it, let it sit. High hydration dough is technically anything over 80% hydration, but even doughs with 70% hydration can feel really sticky to work with, so all these tips still help. High hydration doughs can feel sticky and difficult to handle, and therefore benefit from a technique called Autolyse, which is both a noun and a verb, and also spelled with an S or a Z. So basically though, it's just a quick rest for our flour and water before adding your salt and leavener, whether it's dry yeast, fresh yeast, or sourdough. To autolyse your dough, or perform an autolyse, whatever the proper grammar is, you want to just mix the flour and water and then let it rest for 20 minutes to an hour. This little pause allows our flour to absorb the water, and this in turn helps the dough naturally feel less sticky. And during this 20 to 60 minute period, the autolyse has a couple additional benefits for sticky dough. Enzymes begin to break down protein in flour, which helps make dough stretchy. Also, enzymes start to turn starch into sugars, and that becomes food for our yeast once we mix them into the dough, which helps it feel more elastic. Also, we're giving that gluten structure a head start on developing before our salt is added, which tightens the gluten. This is great for a high protein flour like bread flour, which we talked about earlier, that needs a little more time to hydrate. But it's also great for whole grain flours like wheat flour, since that extra time softens the bran so it doesn't cut up the delicate web of gluten as much. And as an added bonus, you don't have to knead the dough as long, which means less time handling sticky dough, which means less time being tempted to add more flour. This all makes a big impact on how our dough rises. But if your bread isn't rising properly, be sure to watch my video all about the top 5 common mistakes when it comes to bread rising, which I'll link here. Alright, for tip number 2, we obviously wouldn't have bread without flour, so flour isn't the enemy. And sprinkling just a little on your counter before kneading your dough can be really helpful. Now, the best way to get an even distribution of a really thin layer of flour is basically a badass toss. You want to put some extra flour in a bowl so you're not putting your dirty hand into your clean flour bag. Then just grab a pinch from your bowl and make a flick with your elbow, like that. You can do a couple flicks in order to get your counter covered. You can see I only used about a tablespoon total of flour, but it covered a really large surface area and there aren't any huge chunks of flour. This provides the ideal surface for our dough not to stick to the counter while also not absorbing big pockets of excess flour. Now this third tip is to use cold, wet hands. And I know that might sound counterintuitive at first, but trust me. Instead of coating your hands repeatedly in flour, keep a bowl of cold water nearby and just dip your hands periodically in it. Water stops the dough from sticking to your hands without changing the hydration or altering the recipe. And although it might not feel super relaxing, cold water is best. Tip number 4 is to use a bench scraper. And this little tool is sticky dough's best friend. While I love my metal one for cutting dough and picking it up to move it around, I actually prefer a more flexible plastic one for kneading sticky dough because I can get it down into the curves of my mixing bowl and underneath the dough. This also helps dough from getting out of control because it stays in the bowl for the first few minutes of mixing or kneading until more of that flour gets hydrated to where you can turn it out on your counter. So you see, we're not fighting against sticky dough. We're lovingly guiding it. For this last tip, I'm going to suggest doing stretches and folds instead of traditional kneading for really sticky dough. And you may have heard or practiced the stretch and fold technique, which is a gentler, slower way to develop gluten compared to kneading. During your dough's bulk fermentation or first rise, which I explain more about in my rising versus proofing video, which I'll link here, the dough gets stretched up and folded over itself in the mixing bowl a series of times, again with wet hands. Then your dough gets a nice relaxing little rest in between each interval. This helps us develop and strengthen the gluten network, which creates more structure in our dough. And while handling the dough less, we're less likely to add more flour, which again can tighten and dry out your dough, resulting in dense bread. Okay, up until this point, we've talked about why dough needs to feel sticky at first and how to handle it when it's supposed to feel sticky. But what about when you're not sure if something actually went wrong with your recipe? Okay, so let's say you were following a recipe and it told you to knead the dough, not stretch and fold it, but suddenly you're 15 minutes into kneading, it's as sticky as ever, even using cold, wet hands. Well, if the hydration of the recipe was calculated correctly, you want to keep kneading that dough until it can pass the window pane test. Pull off a little piece and stretch it between your fingers. If you can see light pass through before it tears, it's developed enough gluten and you can go ahead and let it rise now. However, if the recipe you're following called for a no knead method, or it's just simply beyond being able to be kneaded, even with all these tips to develop enough gluten, you want to troubleshoot a few things. First, look at your flour. If the recipe called for the ingredients by weight, go ahead and grab your kitchen scale and measure it by weight. Because if you try to convert it from metric to imperial, it can have some major discrepancies that can mess with your recipe. Second, if you are measuring by cups, how did you measure it? If you just pulled your cup through the flour bag, or if you packed it into the cup, then that's gonna add way more flour than if you sifted it or spooned and leveled your flour. Third, did you add all the flour? Sometimes recipes divide the flour between different steps, so just double check. Did it all get in? Then you want to check the liquid amount. Did you measure your liquid correctly? And finally, how about your yeast? Was your yeast expired or was it stored properly? Yeast can have a really big impact on the gluten structure and therefore how our dough feels and looks. So, if your dough is looking like pancake batter and tears instantly instead of stretching, just let it rest at room temperature for 20 minutes. This will give the flour more time to hydrate and gluten to develop and strengthen the dough's ability to stretch without tearing. Then do one series of stretches and folds with lightly floured hands to introduce just a little more flour. It might be that your dough just needs a little more rest. Now look, I'll be the first to admit that sticky dough is uncomfortable. When I've got dough all up in my business and I'm trying to enjoy a mindful, relaxing activity and my cortisol is rising due to the mess I'm creating, it doesn't feel like the quaint, rustic vibe I was going for. But this is what sticky dough turns into, if you have the patience to stick with it. Pun intended. If you want more foolproof bread baking techniques without the overwhelm, hit subscribe and stick around for more. I'll see you in the next one. Happy baking!